Welcome to Today in Prophecy Daily News in 15 minutes or less. It's news with the perspective from the Bible. Lots of things to talk about today. Still talking about UFOs and drones over New Jersey. China and their military drone birds. Canada is confiscating guns. Global food prices are entering very dangerous territory, and a lot more. But let's begin with this first story. It's regarding the Pope, the Vatican, the nativity scene. I talked about this the other day, also earlier today on You Can't Make This Up. But I want to give you Naftali's perspective. Hanaya Naftali, we've had him here on the program before. In fact, I was just at Pastor Greg Denham's church not too long ago with him also. Looking forward to having him back on. But he's Israeli. He's one of the main sources for helping people to understand throughout the world what's really going on in Israel. I want to thank Anayan just for his faithfulness and the wisdom that he brings and insight and so many great posts. But here he's going to bring this regarding the Pope, the Vatican, and the whole issue with the Palestinian garb, the kippah and baby Jesus. Naftali points out, here it is. You have this Palestinian garb as if Jesus was a Palestinian. Whole thing is absolutely unbelievable, but he's going to explain it better than I ever have. Watch this short video.
So, right before Christmas, it was so urgent for the Pope to meet with the Palestinian president and discuss support for the two-state solution. By the way, did the Palestinian president tell the Pope how he said no to every peace deal offered to him? At the Vatican, they also displayed the nativity with baby Jesus laying on the Palestinian kafia. And now the Palestinian government announced that they are inaugurating an embassy at the Vatican. What's going on? Did the Pope forget why Christians are a minority in Bethlehem? I'll give you a hint. It happened after the Palestinian Authority took over governance. Guys, let me know in the comment section, what do you think about this whole situation in the Vatican? It looks like something's weird going on there.
Yeah, I'm looking at that going, I've explained this like so many times, but people don't get it or they don't want to get it. They're willfully ignorant, like Peter writes in 2 Peter chapter 3, or as Paul writes when he talks about the nation of Israel, that God has not done with Israel. Don't be ignorant of this mystery, lest you be puffed up in your own mind. Romans chapter 11, verse 25 says that God is not done with Israel, but blindness and part has happened to Israel until the fullness of the Gentiles has come. Then all Israel will be saved. The whole premise of this is a narrative to say that Jesus was a Palestinian. It is a lie. I've dealt with this seems like a million times. Now listen, Herod, here we are coming up on Christmas time, so this story always comes around at Christmas time. When Herod decided to kill all the Jewish boys in Bethlehem that were 2 years old and under. Why did he decide to kill them? Because they were Jews. That's why, not Palestinian. No matter what the lies are that are out there, secular history, biblical history shows is Jews. In fact, I dealt with this earlier today. I dealt with this like 5 times this week already. The very first people ever called Palestinians were the Jews themselves at the time of Hadrian in 135 AD, when Hadrian changed the name of Judea and Samaria to Syria Palestina, which gives us our English name Palestine. It was 100 years after Christ that the name even came about, and he did it to humiliate the Jews that were left in the land. The very first Jews, hence, were called Palestinians, the first ones that were ever called Palestinians. So the whole thing is just a sham. It's a lie. The UN promotes it. Our own government promotes this nonsense. Our own media promotes it. It's promoted by churches that claim to be Christian, not just coming from the Vatican. Protestant churches promote these same lies over and over and over again. Thank you, Naftali, for sharing that. Looking forward to connecting with you soon, as soon as we can. Also, when we're over there in Israel in March. And by the way, if you want to go to Israel with us, we have 3 spots left for March if you want to. And my tours are small. They're only 1 bus. It's great for me to get to know people that way. And so if you want to, we'd love to have you join us. I think we have 3 spots left as of today or something like that. All right, let's get rolling from there. Homeland Security shares new details of mysterious drone flights over New Jersey. In a post on the social media platform X, Assemblywoman Dawn Fantasia described the drones as up to 6 feet in diameter and sometimes traveling with their lights switched off. The Morris County Republican was among several state and local lawmakers who met with state police and Homeland Security officials to discuss a spate of sightings that range from New York City area all the way through New Jersey and westward into parts of Pennsylvania, including areas like Philadelphia. Dozens of mysterious nighttime flights started last month and have raised growing concern among residents and officials. I want to say this. So many different comments have been made about these drones. I just want to caution you on a couple of things. So let's start. First of all with this one. And this is real straightforward, is these are not UFOs. A lot of people are out there in the prophecy world saying they're UFOs. They are not UFOs, all right? These are drones, and there's a lot of deception going on. I personally had a great conversation. It'll be on World News Briefing tonight on his channel. You can check it out tonight or tomorrow. It'll play again if you want to watch it with Dennis Swick. We got into this about the drones, but I look at this dynamic with these drones. What is it? Is it Iranian drones that are over here, as some have speculated, possibly even looking to assassinate Trump? What's the purpose of these drones? What are they? They're definitely a distraction. Everybody's talking about them. Dennis Swick from his channel made a great point that this is simply a U.S. military operation, but he explains why, and it was his best explanation I heard yet. But anyways, that was on World News Briefing with Dennis Swick, the founder of his channel. But nevertheless, with all of that being said, listen, don't be deceived. Don't be led by all of the deception that is out there. We've been talking about these things. And the stories of UFOs are only going to increase more and more. There's going to be more and more deception, but be careful that no one deceives you. And I believe it's quite possible that it'll be UFOs that are the excuse of UFOs to be used to explain away the rapture too. We're going to hear a lot more. I'm absolutely convinced a heck of a lot more in 2025 regarding UFOs and deception. So remember, it's a deception game. Satan wants you to think these things are real. I think a lot of what we see is demonic, but right now I think these are drones, and it probably is a U.S. military operation. But anyways, they just aren't telling us yet. I guarantee you this. There are people out there that know exactly what this is. If it's Iranian, they know it's Iranian. If they're meant for harm, for whatever reason, they know that too. If it's U.S. military, who do you think knows that? So you guys can work through that. All right, check this out, this next story. Canada, and this is actually from about a week ago, if I remember correctly. Wanted to report on it back then, I just haven't done it yet. But Canada bans 324 additional firearms, says confiscated, look at this, confiscated weapons will instead be sent to Ukraine as needed. Oh, I get this. Here's one of the comments. So when the UK banned guns, knives became the problem, so they banned knives. So get ready, Canada, knives are next. This is your safety. This is for your safety, not because of communism per your communist government. So spot on. Listen, this stuff is evil. Look, take away the weapons. Take away, here in the United States, so many calls. Take away the Second Amendment. It's take away the weapons, because when you can't defend yourselves, guess what? They can do anything that they want to you. And I look at that in Canada. Listen, we have a lot of viewers up in Canada. I want to thank you guys so much. Some of the most encouraging notes I get are from people in Canada. Just outstanding. You guys are under us. Like all the time, you got crazy Trudeau up there. He's one of the most evil leaders that there are in the whole world. You really do got to wonder, is he really related to Fidel Castro? I mean, you ever see those pictures? I'm sure some of you have seen those. But crazy Trudeau, that's what he ought to be called. I mean, guy's absolutely nuts. But he has evil things. And, looking at the people of Canada, man, you guys are going through so much. I praise God for your faithfulness, pressing forward with the hope of the gospel of Jesus Christ. And we're hoping, should the Lord tarry, that we be able to come up to Canada and do a couple of conferences up there too. I get asked all the time. It's just a matter of having doors open, the right place, having a facility, and we will gladly come up there. God bless you guys, Bill. So many things going on there. All right, check this out. The economic collapse. Michael Snyder. Global food prices are entering a very dangerous territory. What in the world is going to happen if global food prices, supplies continue to get even tighter during the second half of this year? Global food prices have been surging. A perfect storm of factors is suppressing production all over the planet. And meanwhile, worldwide demand for food just keeps rising. Needless to say, higher prices hurt those at the bottom of the economic food chain the worst. Food prices have become a major issue in country after country, and if current trends continue, it won't be too long before widespread unrest breaks out. Here in the U.S., the cost of living is absolutely eviscerating the middle class. If a way cannot be found to stabilize food prices, we will be seeing a tremendous amount of anger and frustration in 2025 and beyond. It kind of makes you think maybe that is intentional, right? Get the people all upset, shake up the world, blame whoever's in charge for that, right? So, but you look at this and think, okay, global food prices soaring, indeed they are, but it's affecting everything. Remember, Klaus Schwab said, I think it was in 2015, if I remember right, by 2030, you will own nothing and be happy. And they're talking about Agenda 2030. And there's various ways these things are happening. As prices are skyrocketing on some things, in some areas we have inflation shooting through the roof. Other areas is we have deflation. It appears to me we have the perfect economic storm coming. Let me give you another example. There's so many areas, like if you live in a hurricane area or something like that, an area that you have major floods. Out here in California, it's fire areas. And what do you hear now? Sorry, we're not going to be, you're not going to be able to get insurance, or the insurance gets so costly, you can't even afford your own home anymore, even though the home prices are absolutely outrageous. You already have that one strike, but then you throw in, you can't even get insurance on your house because you're in a flood area, you're in a hurricane area, you're in a fire area, or whatever it is. Well, I thought insurance companies were supposed to cover those things. They're saying, nope, we're not going to cover you anymore. So you can't, you can't get a loan then. You can't get a house. So what does it do? It forces these types of things. All of these increases coming from, same thing with car insurance. All of these increases coming from so many different angles and unable to obtain this and unable to obtain that. Guess what? It's causing more and more people to go to the place saying, I'm going to have to rent just to survive. Hey, what a coincidence. Klaus Schwab said, by 2030, you'll own nothing and be happy. And you can see the squeeze being put on. It's a reminder of Revelation chapter 6, the rider on the black horse, where it's a day's wage for a loaf of bread, but don't harm the oil or the wine. The picture is those of the middle class and those who are the masses of the people, and beneath that are just going to be absolutely eviscerated, devastated by a coming planned collapse, because it says don't harm the oil or the wine, implying the elite, the people at the top that are pulling the strings, doesn't harm them. These food prices don't harm them. In fact, the more these other things get expensive, it blesses them because they're able to acquire your foreclosed house. They're the ones who probably own the insurance companies. And you start looking at BlackRock and others. Guess what? Don't harm the oil or the wine. Listen, this is understanding news from a biblical perspective. Everything is going that direction. Their plan is 2030. You'll own nothing and be happy. We'll see what's happening. We have a very interesting 2025 that is coming about. A last story from World Israel News. Israel to control Syrian buffer zone until new force deployed to prevent terrorist takeover, says Netanyahu. I look at that, man. You know, I've been up to the Golan Heights. I've been on Mount Bentel. I've looked over there into Syria, and you can see the UN there, and then you can see Syria. You can see the problems. Now Israel's saying, no, we're going to control this. Praise God, man, what a mess that is. Wish I had more time to do that. I'll tell you what, I'll do a quick update Sunday night before, for the message Sunday night. I'll do an update for you guys. We're going to go into these details. We're out of time. God bless you guys. I'll see you Sunday morning, Sunday night.